I'm Barb Quick, and I am the Assistant Director for Learning Support Services, which is part of the Academic Advising and Career Services Center, and then the Tutoring Center is part of that whole group. But now we're here. So glad to have you here. How many of you have been inside the Tutoring Center previously? Oh, wow, cool. And I know people have walked back and forth outside when we've been in operation here. What are your first impressions of the place?
Busy.
Busy when you peek in? Anything else?
Yeah, there's a certain buzz.
Yeah. Cool, I'm glad you noticed that. I love it. Anything else?
A lot of work is getting done.
I think so. I hope so. Yeah, it's every time I walk through the tutoring center, I get that same hit of just, it's buzzing. So there's a lot of communication going on. It seems like I look around and I see students working pretty hard, sometimes with the tutors, but sometimes on their own or helping other students, and that always really lights my fire, so it makes me happy to be working in this area. I just want to tell you a little bit about the tutoring center, but I hope you'll interrupt me and ask questions anytime, because otherwise it's going to be like a boring 5 or 6 minute lecture. The tutoring center's focus is pretty easy to articulate. We tutor math and science general university requirements. So we don't try to tutor all things to all people. Can you guess what subject area is our highest demand?
Chemistry.
Close. Math. It's definitely math.
Calculus.
Yeah, but second is?
Chemistry.
Yeah!
Did you have trouble with chemistry, Rick?
You are not alone.
I did until I realized everyone else was also having it. I just feel so bad.
So true. Yeah, over half of the people who are in here at any given time are working on math. And chances are, about half of those working on math are working on Math 114, which is pre-calculus. But we tutor math 112, 107, 99, 107, 112, which is algebra, and then pre-calculus. We tutor all the pre-calculus courses. There are 3 different ones. We also tutor business pre-calculus and calculus, and we also tutor statistics, Math 240. So that's our math coverage. I mention that because there's also a math center on campus, and they tutor the not set that I just mentioned. They tutor everything else, so mostly calculus on up. For chemistry, chemistry is our second most demanded area. Between 25 and 30% of our tutoring's for chemistry. Most of it for the general chemistry series, but a couple years ago, one of the tutors who had just completed organic chemistry came and talked to me, and he said, you know, I love organic chemistry, which is kind of weird anyway, and he said, so many people have trouble with it, I think we should tutor organic chemistry. And so we started to do that, even though it's not a GUR. Other subject areas that we tutor, physics is third most demanded. We also tutor some that you might not think of right off the bat, like economics, biology, and philosophy 102, which is intro to logic, which is more like math than not. So those are some of the courses and subject areas that we tutor for. I just want to check my cheat sheet so I don't forget important stuff I wanted to tell you. We have a staff of about 45 student employees, and then there are 2 professional permanent staff members, myself and Michelle. Have you all met Michelle? Yeah.
What's Michelle's last name?
Wallace, and she's just been working here for about 4 months. So, I'm sorry, what's your name?
Elizabeth Geoffrey.
Oh, hi. I think I might have met you very briefly one time. Yeah. So they're just the 2 of us, full-time professional staff members, and then there are 45 student staff members. At any given time, we probably have 6 to 8 of our student staff working here doing tutoring. This is where the drop-in tutoring happens. We have 3 different forms of service, and drop-in is the largest by far, and that's where this happens. This quarter, fall quarter just over, we had 14,000 visits here in drop-in tutoring. Drop-in tutoring is kind of how it sounds. Students drop in, they don't need they don't need an appointment or anything. They sign in when they come in, and then they have a seat at one of these tables. If a student's here at a time when we have geology tutoring and they want a tutor to come help them, all they have to do is lift up the card, and then either the geology tutor will come running over to them, or if the geology tutor's already working with someone, we put them on the list, and the tutor will get to them as soon as possible. There are times when the list is 2 columns. We sometimes have had more than 20 people on the list. It's definitely one of the flaws of the drop-in tutoring service, but it's because there's more demand than supply.
So it's always one-on-one with the student, you have a group, then if you've got several.
Yeah, we've really been trying to move starting last year, we were trying to start focus areas. So we'll have one of these 2-table clusters for a number of high-demand classes. We'll have a Math 114 table where people can work together as a group, and a Math 157, Gen Chem, LComm, physics. We call this the mega table over here, and that's always physics all around the mega table. So we try to get people working collaboratively so that tutors can work with them as groups too. But yeah, most of the tutor interaction with students is one-on-one, but it's kind of hit and run in a way, because they'll work with the student, they'll answer some questions, they'll maybe get them working through a problem, and then in less than 10 minutes usually they'll need to move on to the next student needing help. So they have 5 or 6 students per hour. About other services that we offer are tutor-facilitated study groups just for a few specific courses. Those happen around campus. There's not access to appropriate space really within the library. Something that we also do, but much, much less of, is study skills tutoring. We have peer advisors who are trained to help with stuff like time management, note-taking, test preparation. That has been a very low volume part of our service, and it's the only thing that we do individually by appointment. Otherwise, we don't do individual tutoring by appointment. We just don't have the resources to offer that service. Starting next quarter, we're going to really make a play to increase our study skills tutoring, so watch for some promotion of that service. We also do presentations about study skills by request. We don't go out and try to do workshops and try to rope people into coming, but when people ask us to do one, we'll do one. And we had about 300 attendees at some of the presentations that we did last quarter. Let's see, this goes so fast, and some of the things that you see on the table are materials that we lend out. We have textbooks, even in that case over there, textbooks, solutions manuals, and also some supplements from the classes. We have calculators that students can borrow, but they can only borrow them in this room. We don't lend them to take out of this room at all. And if they take them out of this room, they get charged $10 a day, and after 4 days, we also charge them to replace the resource. Yeah?
How long can they do textbooks on?
There's not a limit in terms of number of hours, but it has to be as long as they're actually here. So if they're here working, they can keep using the textbook, but they can't take it out of the room. There are a couple services that get mixed up with us all the time. One is the Math Center, who I mentioned. They do Calculus On Up, and they're over in Bond Hall. Another is the Language Media Center. Because it used to be located right over here, picture a wall there that's now gone. People still come here thinking that there's language tutoring going on. There's not. We don't do any language tutoring. They're over in Miller Hall, the bottom floor of Miller Hall. So I feel like I've left out a lot, but I know it's about time to move on.
So do you specifically recruit tutors then who are majoring in particular areas?
Yeah, everyone who works here has to tutor math up through pre-calculus. That's just a base level requirement. But then we're also looking for people, the real gold standard are pre-med majors, people who can tutor multiple subjects. So I would say 80 or 90% of our tutors can also tutor either chemistry or physics. And then there's some specializations than that.
Uh-huh.
So our scheduling is a thing of beauty, in my opinion. Every quarter, we find out what tutors are capable and willing to tutor, and we schedule them around their course schedules, and then we figure out what hours do we have tutoring for which subjects,
Mhm.
and then put that schedule.
You guys gotta leave.
Okay, well, thanks,
Thanks,
you guys.
Barb.